Hey guys, so I am here today with the BTA team. We've just been at the gym, we've done some HIIT training, and now we're going to do some group posing with everyone. So we've got newest member to the team, Chloe. Hey girl. We've got Tab working the sass, as always.
Always. What's that?
Yeah, we don't like you. Jake and Adele, the queen. Stay tuned. My YouTube channel, and welcome back to another episode of my comp prep series. I am now 6 weeks out for the WBFF. So I wanted to jump on here to give you guys a bit of an update on how things have been going for me. Obviously a little bit of a physique update. As you can see now, I am definitely getting there. I am feeling a pinch. I am feeling super lean at the minute as well, which is all good. It means that we are going in the right direction. However, this is when I find that it does get quite hard. I have been prepping now for like 14 weeks. So, you know, unlike most people, some people only prep for like 12 weeks. I know some girls only prep for 10 or 8. So for me, it is quite a long prep. So at this time, it does start to take its toll a little bit. And by that, I just mean I lose energy quicker throughout the day. I get more hungry and getting less patient. And yeah, I'm just not really, you kind of go through those days where you're feeling your workouts and then you're not. So today is a good day. That's why I'm doing this video now. Okay, so macros for me now have changed. My calories are a lot lower than they were before. So now I'm probably sitting around 1,450 calories on a low day, and I'll also put the macros up here. And then on a high day, I'm around 1,650, if I'm correct. There's not a massive difference between my low and high day. Obviously, the difference is the carbs. And I really do feel like there's so much more food on that day. I cannot wait for it. So yeah, I do 2 of those days a week, and this is on my leg days. Now, if you've been following my journey, you've obviously seen that I haven't been doing a lot of leg training because of my hamstring injury. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been slowly progressing back into weights. So that's why we've been able to put the food up now. So I'm nowhere near where I was, but I'm able to train. I'm able to do some like weighted hip thrusts, some lunges. I even tried leg press the other day. It was like no weight on it, but I get good days and bad days. Yesterday was a bad day. After legs on Tuesday, I really felt sore on my hamstring. So when I get days like that, I do have to rein it in a little bit. So again, I'm not on top form, and I honestly don't feel like I will be on top form until prep is over, just because of the amount of stress that my body's under at the minute. I'm just not giving it enough time to recover or doing rehab the way I want to, and having calories super low at this point as well does not help, because I'm pushing my body past the point where it wants to be. It's fighting me in all different directions at the minute, but I will not give up. In today's video, I wanted to show you what I've been doing, what I've been up to, and I wanted to touch on posing as well, because last week I took my girls who are also competing in their own competitions and some of the guys, and we did group posing practice. And posing is one of those things where it is your literally most of your marks, and I always push to my clients to practice posing as much as you can, because you can have the best body in the world, you can have the best hair in the world, the best makeup, the best physique, but if your posing isn't on point, then you may as well have just not even trained, because it's your posing that's going to bring out the best in you. It's going to bring out your personality, and it's going to show off your best side. So if you really lack on that and you're not practicing, then it's not going to come out good on stage. So I wanted to use today to give you some of my tips that I do when I'm posing, and what I tell my girls as well when I'm teaching them. So number 1 is make sure that you practice. Now I know it's such an obvious one, but again, so many people just don't do it. Or I get people ask me like 4 weeks before the show if I can do them a posing routine, and I'm like, oh my god, you should have been practicing this weeks ago. And it is so important that you do. because not only do you need to practice a T-walk or the comparison rounds, you also just need to practice walking. Now, walking is hard enough on its own without heels, let alone with heels. And I know that a lot of girls really struggle to walk in heels, and your walk is going to be the first thing that they see when you come out on that stage. So if we break down a posing routine and how it looks, for the WBFF, they are looking for a T-walk where you come out on the stage, you do like a few poses at the front, you walk over to the right. Oh, there you go, I don't even know my left and my right. You walk over to the right, you do a pose there, walk over to the left, do another pose, and then you walk to the back and get in line with the other girls. Then from there, you're going to come forward and you're going to do the comparison rounds. So this is where they're going to be comparing you to all the other girls in your category. So this is where your posing needs to be super strong. So the next thing you need to be practicing is obviously your T-walk and your comparisons and just your general posing. So I always say make sure that you do pose in front of a mirror. However, you need to get used to posing away from the mirror, because on the day you will not have a mirror in front of you. So you do need to get confident with not posing in front of a mirror, feeling how that pose feels. Like, for example, a back pose can be really hard to do because you can't actually see it. So this is where muscle memory comes into play. You need to think to yourself, okay, how does that feel? And then remember that feeling, and then you know where you need to be in that pose. So making sure that you're practicing, when you are not practicing in front of the mirror, you are setting up a camera so you can watch yourself back, critique yourself as of when it's needed, and make sure that obviously you are bringing out the best in you. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to posing, especially with WBFF, this is why I love WBFF, is you can be yourself. There are no set poses, there are no mandatory transitions or anything like that. Not like some other federations, you can literally just be yourself. And so this is where it's really important to use poses that bring your personality across. So for example, if you are quite a shy person or you're quite sweet and innocent, you wouldn't come out and be like sass queen and flicking the hair and like, you know, really sharp walk. You would probably have a softer walk, slower, fluid movements, all this kind of stuff. Whereas me, I'm super sassy. Like, I love the sass. So I will always have a hair flick in there. I always have strong dynamics, but I switch between the soft and the sharp as well. So that's what I love about it, is you can just be yourself. And when it comes to the poses as well, which is tip number 2, is make sure that you pick poses that suit your frame. And what I mean by that is you're not doing poses that someone else has just taught you because that's what looks good on them. You're actually doing it because you want to show off your best assets. So for example, if you feel like your booty is your strongest point rather than your back, then maybe pick more side poses over back poses. Obviously you will have to do all of them, but when it's like in your T-walk, you can pick more side poses than a back poses. When I'm doing my comparisons, I feel like the weight, having my weight to the right, I can really get my hip round and twist and squeeze everything more than I can on the left. So in the comparisons round, when it's a front pose, I will stick more to this side. So again, it all comes down to your strong assets, what you think makes you look good, and not what someone else thinks that makes you look good, if that makes sense. So tip number 3 is make sure that you don't rush. Don't get this confused with be super slow, because you don't want that either. But I see so many girls come up on stage and it's just like they're rushing through everything. They're not finishing their poses. They're not holding that pose for like a second. You know, I always say to my girls when I'm teaching them, make sure that when you hit that pose, you're holding it for at least 1 or 2 seconds, enough time for someone to take a picture. So in my head, I think, click, every time I do a pose, in like someone's taking a photo of me. Because if you're rushing through it, if they took that picture, you are going to be like moving halfway through it. So I always say that your T-walk shouldn't be, like the first part of your T-walk, shouldn't be any longer than 20 to 25 seconds. That's like perfect amount of time to hit your front pose, hit your side pose, hit your back pose, do a transition, and then walk off to the side. So again, it's taking your time, it's not rushing, but it's also not being really, really slow, because I do see some girls up on stage sometimes and they are up there a long time. And I'm not gonna lie, this was me last year in WBFF. It did take quite a long time. That's one thing that I have learned. And they started to call out someone else's name as I wasn't even finished. So this year I've made sure that I've timed myself. It's nice and it's not too fast, but it's not too slow. So that's one to remember. Number 5 is be confident. Now, even if you are not a confident person, you can fake confidence just from your body posture, your smiling. When I'm doing routines for my girls, as soon as they give me a smile or do something with their hair, or they just slightly lift their chest up, all of a sudden, like, this confidence just comes out of them. Play around with faces, play around with using your hair, what positions you have your hands on, because all this is gonna ooze confidence. So the more that you can get used to that, the more that you practice and your T-walk becomes normal to you, that you don't actually have to think about it anymore, like consciously you're just doing it on your own, then the more you can work on bringing out that confidence, bringing out that sass, smiling and enjoying yourself. And my last tip for you guys is to just enjoy yourself. So just remember that no matter what happens, you've done the best that you can do. You look the best that you can be, and you are the one that put in all the work in the first place in order for you to get to that day. And just remember as well that some girls don't even make it to show day, sadly, because they do lose that confidence. So if you are one of those people that do get to the show, make sure that you enjoy yourself. You know, this time is for you. It's your time to meet other people, have a great day. Even if you don't get the result you want, you know that you did the best that you can do. So guys, I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. It was a little bit of a random one, but I really do hope that you took something away from it. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please make sure that you hit subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode.